Let's bring back in our guest. Joining us still to discuss, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor David Bruno, and deputy public defender for L.A. County, Philip Dubé. Philip, want to get your reaction. Again, as I said, this is the second time that this jury has come back, clearly struggling. Again, George Kelly is facing second-degree murder charges in this case, and also in their, so that's not a problem. Also, the prosecutor asked this jury to also consider reckless manslaughter as well as negligent homicide. David Bruno, I think we're having some technical difficulties with Philip, so I pose that question to you. What do you think this jury might be struggling with?
Oof. Good question, Michael. I mean, 115 yards away from his porch where the projectiles were fired. Clearly, they're having an issue, I guess, with the geographical area where it is. I mean, and it's really not a surprise to me. I mean, it's a politically conflicted case. And listen, when you get those questions from the jury 2 times, it's great for the defense. They're out there and probably very happy. They do want finality to it, but when the prosecutor has the burden beyond a reasonable doubt and they get mistrials, they got to really think about what to do next, because if they're going to struggle on 1, they're going to struggle on 2, because it's going to give the defense a playbook on cross-examination where their weaknesses is. And I think that they're probably going to do a better job on the second trial knowing these facts than the prosecutor would on their second prosecution.
Yeah, you know, David, we always say, and this is what the Constitution planned, is for folks to be tried by a jury of their peers. Now, it would be difficult for you and I to sit in judgment of this man, just looking at the law, but you got to go with your peers in that. And I've said from the beginning, folks who live in that area understand the particular problem that this man was dealing with better than we obviously could. And there must be some people, I don't know how many, we don't have a sense of what the sort of count is in terms of maybe a not guilty or a guilty, but there are some people who believe that he was in the right in what he did, even though they didn't hear from him.
Well, yeah, guess what, too? On the self-defense issue, it's got to be objective reasonableness, right? So what does that mean, objective, for our viewers? Number 1, the subjective belief of the actor itself had to believe he was in fear for his life to use deadly force. And then that objective standard is the reasonable person in his position. So, Michael, with that being said, you bring up a great point for the jury of his peers, because this is not in North Jersey. This is not in Manhattan criminal court. This is in a place where the community is dealing with the immigration problem. So when we talk about the objective standard and the reasonable person standard, it's the reasonable person right down the street from him or in that community, which changes things a lot region to region.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw George Walker walking around there, too. You know, that may play a role, too. He's an older guy in terms of this objective looking at the situation. All right. So, again, we'll keep folks updated. They have returned to continue deliberating out there in Arizona. But, folks...